Well, trailer wiring is pretty damn simple. I'm going to replace the wiring on this boat and the lights in the back. I got a couple of those lights here I had for a while. I never installed them though because I wasn't using the boat. But what's cool about when you buy the lights though that are designed for trailers, they already have, like on the right side, they have the green wire. On the left side, you have the yellow wire. The brown wire is common to both. That's like your tail light. So you're using an 1157 bulb, which is a dual filament bulb, not an 1156, which would be like for backup lights and stuff. So you use a dual filament bulb. So the lower filament, the lower intensity filament is running through the brown wire, which is your regular parking lights and headlights. So they'll be lit up then. And when your turn signals are on and your brake lights are on, it'll go through the green wire and the yellow wire for the high intensity side. So when the brake lights are on, both the yellow and green wire are activated, and when its turn signals are on, just one or the other is. So very simple wiring. Like here it shows red for auxiliary power. That's if you have like side lights, but I just got side markers, so I don't need that. And you know, the other thing is the white wire is for your ground. The one thing I like to do though when I install these is I'll tie like a real heavy zip tie around here to secure them. And I like using zip ties to secure the wire too, because the metal clips could screw them up after a while. But I'll use a little extra wiring wrapped around here a few times with another zip tie, because just in case you need that wiring, like maybe you're towing with, okay, you're towing with that vehicle down there, El Camino, which you can see my 3 cats are there. And you say you're towing with something else, and it's got a long thing on it, like a bar or something, or an extension is longer, or something else that made a wire doesn't reach. That's why you want to have some extra wiring on here, so just in case. I mean, you can always have a little jumper thing you can make, but it's easier to have an extra wiring on here, so you leave it wrapped on there. And the other thing is, before I was going to install these, I soaked them down with this 303 aerospace protectant, and I left them in this bag for like several days, soaking with this stuff, because that'll treat the wiring from getting screwed up, from the weather, from the sun, all that kind of stuff. Not that it doesn't get screwed up real fast, but it'll give it a few more years. It's usually the main reason you got to freaking fix the wiring is either rub through or it's just getting old and brittle. So this will make it last a lot longer. That's a good little tip too. So we get to installing this. Well, I'm checking the lights with the battery charger. I got the battery charger on the front there with a little adapter, and yeah, it worked fine. It was a matter. Actually, these were laying around for about 15 years. The side marker where lights work, and the back. And now I'm going to check them for the brake lights, which would also be the the turn signals. So yeah, it worked. I just had them laying around for 15 years. Actually, I did a minor adjustment on one of them. I was surprised, everything worked good with them. And when I put like the butt connectors on there, like the blue butt connectors, and you squeeze them together. And what I did was I put Gorilla Tape over it, and I tied off the Gorilla Tape with zip ties. So it's like they're sealed. In other words, the Gorilla Tape can't come off because it makes it like a waterproof joint besides the butt connector, so it should be pretty good. And up here for the ground, I put a stainless steel bulb, so that won't rust. That's one good thing. So that's one thing, you gotta watch where you put your ground to make sure, the metal might rust, but you don't want the bolt to rust too, so it's one less thing to rust. So, and I got the battery charger right here. You can see it's hooked up like that. And we'll go ahead and hook the other stuff together and see how it works, make sure the brake lights work. Well, the brake lights are working there, so those are the brake lights or the turn signals. I actually had to adjust something on that side. The bracket in there had to be moved over a little bit, but it's a good thing I checked them. So what I have on this trailer is they're new tires, but they're car tires, but might put some trailer tires on it later, but more like when I'm getting ready to get the hell out of here, which might be pretty soon, who knows. You know, one step at a time. But you could fit a lot of stuff in this boat, not heavy stuff, but bulky stuff like clothes and blankets and stuff like that. You could fit in here pretty good, and it can be used to hauling items. So here's my little kitty cat, Onyx. Right, you always there helping me out. And I put Dixie inside just for a second, get him associated with a couple of other cats. There's another cat out here that's aggressive that's coming by. So that's a story for something else. But that's my battery charger over there. So you can see that. That's how I get. It's how I tested. I just put a the little adapter thing on the end of it, and you got to make sure all the wires are up and out of the way. There's metal clips, and there's also zip ties. And the zip ties work okay as long as they are not exposed to UV rays. If they're exposed to UV rays, they'll crap out after a while, and so you got to check. You have to change them. Even the zip ties that are UV resistant. One disadvantage of plastic zip ties, they do. But you know what? If you paint over them, you shouldn't have a problem. Or maybe if you put some of that 303 UV protection, but paint would probably work better. Put a little bit of paint over those zip ties. Like if you're painting this trailer, just paint the damn zip ties too. This is just some Ford engine blue on here, so. But it's kind of like a very simple thing, but it's a time-consuming thing when you nitpick it. Because I made sure I put stainless steel bolts back there. One of them's like a wing nut, and that's another thing. You don't want those rusting out on you really bad and stuff. Another thing, you can actually paint, even though the paint might make these harder to get off, like if you're going to take them off right away. If you put some rust killing primer over that, that'll keep them from getting really rusty pretty fast, because the bolts are stainless, but the nuts are stainless, but the bolt itself is not. It's cadmium plated. But these are supposed to be submersible lights, and I noticed they're like open on the bottom down here. That's open, so I guess they can get wet and it would fill up with water and it would just drain right the hell out. I guess 12 volt doesn't really have a problem going underwater. That's what I gather anyway. Or maybe when you're dunking it in the water, you disconnect the up there in the front, where it's connected, and just back it up and then when you pull it out, let the water drain and reconnect the electric harness. But these are supposed to be submersible, and I was surprised that they're open on the bottom like that. Maybe they just figure they'll fill up with water, and then as soon as you pull them out, they just drain out. Which means you probably need to take this off and spray them down with some kind of oil too every once in a while. But they work, and I'm probably going to replace some marker lights on here. They're cheap. Stick them on there with emblem adhesive besides the crap they give you, which is a two-way tape. But it's the bearings on this are good because, well, these tires are covered up too, but they have it has the bearing buddy, we call it. It's got the grease fitting in the bearing, so you can go ahead and do that, which is easier because you don't take the damn things apart. So anyway, yeah, she's a good old boat. Ain't used it, but used to use it a million years ago. But that's and I got a lot of extra cord up there that's wrapped around a wire case, you know, I needed to have it extended further. So, you know, you could leave it like that or whatever, but and that yellow wire down there has nothing to do with this stuff down here. That's just some cable I was using for something else. That's nothing to do with that. Wires are wrapped up in there, inside there pretty tight. It's one thing you gotta watch out for. So, it eats up, it actually something this simple, even this eats up time if you do it right. That's Mama Cat there, and it's Putin, and that's Onyx, the son. Looks like her. And she was just grooming Goldie, so they'll get along.